Look at me. 20 years ago, I didn't think I'd be here. But wait, let me introduce myself first. So when I started trading, I decided I'm ready to lend my experience, knowledge, and dedication to those that wants to elevate. So welcome to Mindset. Hey, what's going on? Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, wherever you are. Had a little bit of an audio issue on Mindset during Saturday, so we're going to go ahead and do a nice little re-recording. So don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. That way you can let the algorithm know that I bring out some real good content. And yeah, I'm in my passion. I love doing mindset classes. So I hope this information resonates with you and turns you to the biggest trader that you've ever been going into Monday. So I'm gonna go ahead and share some media that I shared with the traders from our early bird session, but we're gonna go ahead and go really deep and dissect this in its totality. And when you see the video, you're gonna see it somebody that's very recognizable, and we're gonna go ahead and get right to it. So that said, let's get it.
So I royally effed up, royally messed up. Like, in all 10 years of trading, this is my biggest lapse in judgment. So what did I do? I went on tilt. I'm human. At the beginning of July, I think it was like first week of July, I'm sitting in my living room and watching a podcast with some pretty big traders, ones that I look up to, that I admire.
Well, let's pause right there. So she says she's with some very big traders. There's always gonna be somebody bigger than you, and these are the things that you're gonna have to strive for going forward. Is being able to control your emotions inside of the market, because again, what other people's results are, you don't know what type of work ethic, you don't know what type of past they had, you don't know what type of pressures they had to challenge, overcome, so that way they could be able to reach these goals and milestones, and there might be still challenges for you. So there was a little bit of a lapse in judgment in that, and I don't like the term that she said, people that I respect. And there's a difference between respecting and envying, and I think there's a very light and thin line in between respect and envy, and I think that was a little bit of a factor in there, and you're going to hear a little bit more.
I'm listening to the trades that they're placing and the money that they're making, and realizing that I've been trading for just as long as these guys really messed me up. I get an alert at the same time. A+ setup in platinum. I went in. I went in heavy. I went in 40 contracts on a trade, over leveraged. I did my top-down analysis. I
So
married
let's pause
this.
here. Think of this way. When she said I over leveraged, that means she's already determined that this is not something that she normally carries. It could be that she raised her leverage an extra percentage point, lot size. In this case, I want to say it's futures, so it is a number of contracts, something that she doesn't normally have. And each time it ticks against you, it kind of makes the heart jump just a little bit, trying to figure out, should I cut the trade or should I continue? And that's why a strong trading plan with clear lines that states what my entry is, when do I get out. But in the case you already had the first one, which is why she's looking in the first place.
Position that night. I wanted to make my first six-figure trade. In addition to going in heavy, I broke my rules. It had consolidated, and then a week later, my exit was presented.
And that's another thing. You can't sit there and break your rules. Rules are designed to protect you from you, right? And think of it this way: and if you're driving down, your interstate, and the speed limit is 65 miles per hour, your car can physically go. Again, we have free will. We can make our own decisions. We can do everything that we want to do. But if we really think about it, it's not safe. So even though you have the free will to do so, and you might get away with it a couple times, but the consistency of when you don't is going to be the difference between your trading profile and how that grows. So I think that's where she kind of get herself a little wrapped up. She should have never broke her rules.
And I didn't exit. Removed the stop. Price went against me. $250,000 worth of drawdown. This is embarrassing. It is what it is. I'm gonna walk you guys through the trade. I'm gonna show you what happened. Too heavy. I over leveraged. 40 contracts. We're up. We're in drawdown. We're up. We're in drawdown. We're up. We get the break. We get the break here. I should have just taken my $35,000 loss. So I marked up this key level. It got to it before, fell off. It got to it before, fell off. If it can get to it and fall off again, then I'm good. I'm safe.
Okay,
And it was.
and that's the other problem, right? I don't know this trade. I don't know this person as an individual. I'm just going to assume that yellow line had to be after the fact. I think the green line, that was her structure. The red line was her downward structure, and her exit should have been right inside of this area, right inside of that green candle breaking through, because that proves that this trend line is not holding and it's not applying it's not applying the pressure that she's looking for, so that way it can continue to that downside. Get out. That's the exit. Get out. And she kind of says that, but I think she put the line at that yellow line after the fact, and she was like, all right, as long as this, then everything will be okay. She was looking for reasons to stay in the trade versus following a well-renowned, back-tested, supported plan, and that's probably part of her major parts of her rejection.
Great decision to move my stop. When it got up here, I froze. Was I going through an identity crisis? Sure, yeah. I'm like, wow, all the haters are finally going to get what they've all asked for. I made $90,000. It's not something to be proud of. I broke every rule.
Let me rewind that back. Did y'all hear that part where she now all the haters will get to say what who cares? It's your race. You can have all the haters in the world, but it's your race. If you don't run your race, then what you running for other people?
Right here, I should have just taken my $35,000 loss. So I marked up this key level. It got to it before, fell off. It got to it before, fell off. If it can get to it and fall off again, then I'm good. I'm safe, and it was a great decision to move my stop.
Great decision.
When it got up here,
stop.
I froze. Was I going through an identity crisis? Sure, yeah. I'm like, wow, all the haters are finally going to get what they've...
All the haters are finally going to get... So there's two things, and this is why you gotta love the market. The market is the biggest personification of a mirror in itself. It just reflects everything, all your flaws and all. And if you don't address your flaws and be comfortable in your skin, actions like this will permeate inside of your trading journey. And that can be dangerous. That's the stuff that gets you into that quick pit.
All asked for. I made $90,000. It's not something to be proud of. I broke every rule in the book. The setup was great.
I love this video, and I love her detail where it says heavy position, broken rules, not in the plan, didn't cut losses quickly. I like what she wrote in there, and I hope she learns from this, because the biggest problem that she's going to face is that she won the trade. I know y'all looking at me like, JD, what are you talking about? It's good. I mean, she got cash. Understand, her stop loss was $35,000. It drew down $250,000, almost 10 times what her drawdown was. Luckily, she has enough capital that allows her to take a drawdown like that. But if you really think about it, by the time she cut the trade at $90,000, and it probably was more like mental fatigue, because again, she was aiming for a certain target. Was it 2-to-1 based on her original trade, which would have been at $35,000? Well, 35,000 times 2, that's 70,000. So she got maybe like 2.5. But because she allowed herself to get to that 250,000, then she really is operating less than 0.5 risk to reward ratio. So the pain that she's feeling is the mental anguish, the pain that she had to do to hold on to the trade and be able to manage it, knowing that, okay, it broke through my yellow line. Okay, it's hitting the backside of the trend line. If it doesn't reject the backside of this trend line, I may be in trouble. And the mental anguish to that. And what I would have loved to see is her redraw an additional line, because it kind of started to create a new downward trend. And then when it broke this center pivot right here, that was the continuation that kind of gave her some confidence. And I don't know if she added more to her leverage or not. Again, I'm not in her trade, and I don't know if there's paper or not. Again, I don't care what people do. If you want to lie about your strategies and trades, that's on you. And I've been looking at a lot of YouTube, and they're basically ripping her apart like, it's paper trade or this or that. Why don't you run your own race? What I love about this video is that she addressed it knowing that she needs to do better. What I don't like with this trade is that she finished. I would have loved her to finish with break even. And you're probably looking at me like, break even? That's the break even would not reward her bad behavior. But because it finally exploded, and to be honest, when it got to break even, let me rewind it up. Yeah, when it got to break even was probably somewhere around this level. She didn't get out. What if this whole entire thing reversed and went right back up? Break even. Get yourself out. Get close to break even. If you deviated from your plan and it's already guiding and you're looking down the line and you think that it's going to do something else, like any one of these, if she didn't have such a high leverage, she could have actually purchased against the drop, adding to her position, and that probably would have gave her closer to break even. But no, she went with the full Monty, thinking that she's a trader that she's not. And then she started trading like them, and she don't even have a trading plan. What is asking for extra confirmation?
It was a 3 touch point trendline break. I created a high risk scenario by going in way too heavy in position size and made every mistake that I possibly could. Way too heavy in position. This wasn't part of the plan to remove the stop. I broke my rules and I didn't cut my loss. It was an awful trade. I compared myself to these other guys on social media. I am chasing the 6-figure trade that I thought that I should have by now, that I should have had by now.
You see,
I still didn't get it.
And she's literally beating herself up, asking herself questions in the fact of, I should be somewhere. The market don't care where you should be. The market doesn't care if your sick grandmother needs insulin. Your market doesn't care if your kids needs private school tuition. The market doesn't care if you're sleepy, tired, or anything. The focus is for you to execute. So I'm going to share something with y'all, and this is what I've shared with the trading floor numerous times before. And what this is a nice little artwork that explains everything that needs to happen. For you to become who you're supposed to be, you have to be that first. For you to be able to do what it takes, you got to be able to do what it takes to be the person that you plan to be. And then last is the have. It's only the byproduct for everything that LeBron James did not become LeBron James because he already became LeBron James and he already had to wait till he had all the Nike deals, had the crown of being the king of the NBA. He didn't have those things first. He had to become that through the fire, through the trials, through the errors. And then he had to do the things that's required because he already had an idea of what it was going to take. Then he got revised it each and every year, each and every challenge. And that's why he's the product that he is today. The money is the byproduct. So let's go ahead and get really deep into this. So what I want to bring to y'all is the fact that we're bringing things on into September. Each month we have a theme. And so with the month of September, this is the month of September for panic trading strategy disorder called PTSD. And what PTSD means is that most people panic based on the parameters that it was set for their trading strategy. It's a major disorder. And shout out to all those that's in the military. This is not to, toy with your word, and I do respect y'all when it's all said and done, but there is a certain type of disorder that happens to traders that's just as impactful because it wraps us around a lot of the emotions and everything else. They're not similar, but there are some similarities that we can go ahead and hone into. So it's not just about the market volatility. And I know a lot of people, the panic and trading strategy, like, oh, it's because there's too much volatility and it's wicking all over the place. And no, not that part. I'm talking about where you got a trading strategy, you panic, you don't operate and execute based on the parameters of that trading strategy, and then you're fighting this internal battle, just like she did. And then you start to blame, well, it's the market. Oh, you know what? There's manipulation. Oh, well, if it wasn't for this, and this, I would have had this, and this, and this. Listen, there's a good song by the late, great Michael Jackson, and it says, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. And I know one man or woman, right? Because we're in 2025. You must address the internal struggles that you face. And those struggles will always pop up. And I tell my trading floor a lot is that these gremlins are always going to pop up. Just don't get gizmo wet. You know what that is? I'm an 80s baby. I apologize. So let's get to it. I said to start with the man in the mirror. So what does that mean? The first step is into overcoming your panic-driven, where you bail out on your trading strategy, where you throw the baby out with bathwater, is the self-awareness. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make flaws. That's why you got to have a strong trading plan that has rules, because those rules will go ahead and protect you from you. We're talking about, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Understand that phrase. This is where you confront yourself by knowing thyself, right? That's self-awareness. So the first step in overcoming that panic-driven, like throw the baby out with the bathwater action that, I don't know if this works because I tweaked this and tweaked that and maybe it won't work and I feel, is that self-awareness. The man in the mirror is you. That's what the song says. You must confront those emotional triggers that slows you down. Are you chasing trades because of fear of missing out? Are you making decisions based on hope, greed, or frustration, revenge trading, instead of your pure strategy? Why do all the back testing and the planning and write down all these rules, do the journaling, do the triaging, if you're not going to do exactly what is asked of you? Myron Golden has a quote. He basically says, you're thinking more than anything else. Your thinking will determine your success. So if you're thinking about how you feel, if you're thinking about, I think this is how it's supposed to be, and you're not operating on a strategy, because all the thinking was already done in the back testing. All the thinking was already done in the forward testing. All the thinking was done when you did your prop firm and you got yourself where you passed your evaluation. Now you're on the PA. All that thinking is already there. So your thinking, more than anything else, will determine your success. I think I need to start following my plan. So take the good with the bad, because that's the truth. That's the honesty. Did it hit your stop loss? And I want you to ask you this question. When a trade stop loss is hit, was that trade successful? Was it successful? I need y'all to really stew on that. If you answered no, then you don't get it. A stop loss is there because in the event I got into the wrong place, in the event that the market climate has changed, in the event my president decided to go ahead and change up the climate, I have this insurance policy here. Because every time I take the trade, 9 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10 times, 7 out of 10 times, 6 out of 10 times, it gets to my TP1 or TP2. So stop losses is not a flaw. Stop losses is the way of life. It's like getting mad because somebody runs into your car. If you don't have insurance, yeah, you better be mad. Mad at yourself because you didn't have a stop loss. But if you have the insurance, they'll replace the car, they'll repair it. No message could have been any clearer. So to gain clarity. So in the middle of the song, it was like, he kind of breaks down. It's like the words are not, it just had to be a little bit clearer. As soon as he said, want to make it say, then look yourself and make that. You already know how to words go. Basically what that says, if you don't control your trades, the trades will control you. So that panic, that fear, the panic and fear from the outside will be that fear of missing out. You're seeing the traders doing what it's supposed to do. You're seeing it, and it's like, yeah, I knew that was the one. You know how many times I said, oh man, I missed my entry? But that fear of missing out will force you to get into something that's not even part of your strategy. Or let me figure out a way that I can get myself in here. Then you're finding a way to stay in the trade when you should have been in a long time ago. Do you have a solid plan for how you will react if the market moves against you? Are you controlling your risk, or is fear pushing you into trades you know you shouldn't even be bothering with? My goal talks about success is not about achieving your goal. It's about becoming a person who consistently produces success. Consistent, profitable trader. Everybody strives to be so. It's not easy. But what's required of it is to make sure that you have the discipline to be able to do the things that you need to do when it has to be done. It's not I did well today and I'm batting 1,000. I know in the traders, especially when I started, it's like, oh, I haven't missed a trade in like a week. I got this now. And then that overconfidence hits, and all it takes for you to get punched in your face. Everybody got a plan until you get punched in the face. So that clarity in trading is like clarity in life. It doesn't happen unless you focus in and control the actions around you. Your trade has a stop loss. Don't touch it. Don't move it. Because if you don't control your trades, they will control you. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change. That's where the clarity comes in. So that internal battle is going to require for you to make that change. You have bad habits. You have tendencies. For you to break that, you got to go ahead and practice those things. And I was having a conversation with an individual that was like, oh, I wish I had more patience. I've been praying for patience. I'm like, I wish patience was like this thing that you could just, get your Windows 95 disk, stick it into the disk drive, upload it, and then out of nowhere, boom, it downloads, installs, and then now, oof, brand new patience. Boom, ready to take on the market. Because I got all this patience now. That's all I was missing. No, it doesn't work that way. God and the element of the market and the free will of the market, that space, is going to give you opportunities for you to be patient. When it starts to give you those impulsive candles, when it didn't even get close to your entry, it gets like that 25 cents or 25 ticks just by your entry, and then it ticks off. That was an exercise in patience. Oh, I guess it went away. I guess that wasn't my trade, because I'm only required to get in when this happens, and if this happens, then I'll do this, and if that happens, then I'll do that, so that way I can be able to be a consistent, profitable trader based on the parameters that I've already backtested. Are you repeating the same mistakes and expecting different results? That's the definition of insanity. Are you willing to put in the work that will be required to control your emotions and make you execute your plan without fail? The decisions you make today, Myron Golden says, the decisions that you make today will shape the life you live tomorrow. The life that you live tomorrow. You have a vision of that life, right? You know how you're supposed to live. Does that life has you moving your stop loss? Being able to kind of like, oh, let me just go ahead and move wherever I feel. Taking multiple trades when you know for a fact your most optimal is around 9:30, 9:45, 9:45, 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Do you even know your numbers? Did you even do the triage? Did you do the discipline so that way you can get the numbers, so that way you can know how to tweak your trading strategy? You're not going to get the results that you're looking for instantaneous like a microwave. This is a slow cooker. It's that, for you to get that pure pulled pork braised properly with the proper season, where it's in every nook and cranny of every muscle fiber of that brisket. is for it to be in that slow cooker. It has to sit. It gotta cook low and slow. Keep your head low. Operate slow. I'm gonna wrap this up. So the dangers of avoiding a internal struggle. Kind of get into this. Um, just like ignoring bad form in the gym is going to lead to injury, ignoring your emotional responses will lead to complete disaster in your portfolio. If after the third trade you tend to lose yourself and you're not trading objectively in the market, maybe it's time for you to walk away from the screen. Maybe after 11, 12 o'clock of low volatility, low volume, you just can't handle it and you need to walk away. Maybe it gets better at 2 o'clock. Maybe your time frames. That's why triage is so important. You must train, Byron says, you must train yourself to respond, not react. A response is calculated. A reaction is impulsive. If you find yourself very impulsive, you're impulsive because you are reacting to the stimuli that the market is doing, and it could be where they just keep on wicking your stop loss because you're entering against support. You're entering against resistance. Only if it breaks through this one more time, I promise it's gonna go ahead and take off. Why? Why put yourself in the element where you cannot control, where you're gonna have to react to every action? But if it's planned and it's calculated, that means as soon as it touched this, execute the numbers, because as long as you execute it each and every time, the numbers won't lie. If it's a 40% success rate, you need to have a certain type of leverage that can weather the amount of losing streaks based on that 40% win rate. You're going to lose. You will lose. It's impossible. There is no, if you find someone that says that they are a 100% trader, you also found a liar. So in conclusion, just to kind of wrap this is not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be running in here and blanking everybody would be billionaires. But that's not how the free market works. That's not how free will works. Free will allows for proper discipline, and if you lack discipline, you're going to get the results for lack of discipline. You play smart trades, you're going to get smart results. You play dumb trades, you're going to get dumb results. I don't make the rules. It's just the way the game goes. That said, I wish you the best. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. Let your friends and family know that I bring great content over. I am at 370 subscribers. I am excited. I'm like 100 and some, about 120, 130 away from getting to my milestone of 500. So let's go ahead and get to that 500. And I tell you this, if I get to 500, I will do a raffle, and I will be giving away something very, very, very special to one specific individual. So by all means, don't forget to share it to your friends and family. And I thank you for taking this moment, and I'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a great day. Later, y'all.